And we're back with Miss Busy Phillips.
Hi.
Host of Busy Tonight.
That's correct.
You're in so many things. You're in my life.
I'm in your life.
I enjoy you.
I'm so happy to be in your life.
Yes. And now I'm happy to have you on the podcast.
It's been a long time coming. We've been trying to schedule for quite some time.
And people keep being in my Instagram like, when is Busy coming on the show?
It was just a scheduling snafu.
Busy, I think you are one of the great talkers. As in, if you just literally walked out into the middle of the street and talked to anybody, you could talk to them for like an hour. Does this happen to you a lot?
Busy on the street.
Busy on
just
the street.
Steal Billy's show.
It's how I got. It's how I got my talk show. Yeah, I like to talk a lot. I've always been a talker. But sometimes I go through periods of time. Sometimes more than others. But my mom's a talker too. You know, like my mom's like one of those women when I was little. I was like, Mom, stop talking to the lady at the grocery store. Can we just go?
And now you're that mom.
Now I'm that mom. It drives my daughters crazy, yes.
But I feel like you in a way can find anybody interesting. So I wonder if that's taxing for you. Like just like keying into everybody and like being able to be like, that reminds me of something.
Yeah, I mean, it can be certainly. And in recent years, I've had to, like, as people in the world have known me and feel like a kinship toward me and feel like we're really friends, I have had to put up a little bit more of a self-preservation barrier in terms of my interactions with people in public, only because I would do this thing that was partially a defense mechanism because being recognized or being approached always made me deeply, deeply uncomfortable, even though it was the thing that I was like running toward, guns blazing, like wanting my whole life. But then when I actually got it, it like truly made me have deep anxiety and made me very uncomfortable. So how I would deal with it was I would just start asking the person that approached me everything about their life.
Right.
Like strangers.
Strangers, like who would come up and they'd be like, oh my God, are you from Dawson's Creek? I love Dawson's Creek. And I would say, oh, that's so amazing. What's your name? Where are you from? What do you do? And what's your, so wait, are you the oldest? I mean, no, because I'm like feeling like a birth order thing. Like, are you like, and tell me, and so do you live with your mom? And then when you were in college, and it would get to the point, my husband Mark would always laugh because it would get to the point where the person who approached me as a fan would start slowly like backing away. Like, it's nice to meet you.
I gotta go get peas.
Well, I can't tell if I met like my favorite celebrity if I would want to ask them all the questions, or if I would feel like, oh my God, she cares about me.
Right.
Like I don't know which one of those I would prefer.
Because I feel like secretly people want to meet celebrities so they can talk about themselves. Like
that's what I think too. And that was like what I was responding to. People want to tell you why you're important to them, or why White Chicks was like so important to their childhood or whatever. And like,
okay, but White Chicks is that girl. Justice for White Chicks.
White Chicks was so ahead of like mostly with just the like the makeup, like the prosthetics, because at the time you were like, okay, we get it and it's funny and it's a movie, but like there are women that look like that now.
Oh,
like
yeah,
look just like that.
100%.
And it like I used to be like, I mean, like, yeah, they look like these crazy white girls, but like there's like a level of comedy. And now I'm like walking down the street, I'm like, oh my God, they literally look like White Chicks.
You can see their tutorial about how to look that way. Yeah.
It's all available on YouTube.
Yeah.
You guys called it. They called
ahead
it.
of its time.
You brought up Dawson's Creek, and I need to tell you that one of my favorite moments on that show is when your character drove a car through a house drunk.
I forgot about that. It was the like Thanksgiving episode.
Yes,
right?
and everyone is at like
it brought
Graham's
my family
house,
together.
At Graham's house,
and the car just plows through the house, and it was a great soap moment.
I forgot about that, Ira.
Well, I forget nothing about soap operas.
I love, like, the truth is that I was a messy drunk my first year in real life on Dawson's. I was pretty miserable and very lonely, and I got drunk a lot, and it was pretty well known that I was like out hitting the bars on the weeknights and the weekends. And this is obviously like pre-TMZ and pre-internet and pre-camera phones. So I was afforded the luxury to be able to be like a messy teen soap star and no one, I didn't have to suffer any consequences really for it. And they fully just like wrote that into the show as my character. Like, I think to just kind of give it to me a little bit. It did
what
hurt.
better way
Well,
to do an intervention?
I think that like having been in writers' rooms where we'll try to add parts into the character that like things we know about the actors, and you're like, we had a couple of people where it was like they're like, haha, it's funny, but you're looking at their face and it's like, oh, they don't actually think this is funny.
I think there is a thing as an actor. I mean, since I'm like old lady glamour and I've been on 4,000 television shows in the last 20 years, there is something as an actor where you do feel on most shows where you do feel this separation between the writer's room and you feel like they fucking hate you. Like that you do feel that sense of like that they're sitting in the room like talking shit about you most of the time. And
they are no.
They're not.
Yeah.
Like that, I mean, that is true.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there for hours and you're, and they pull things from the actors' real lives. Every show I've been on, every actor I know, and every writer I know, they pull things from the actors' real lives that end up in the show. And, it's something that like I think actors can be very sensitive people, and I think sometimes it is really hard for them.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, writers pull so much from their own lives, just
as well.
Period.
Yes,
and so I think it's also probably the distinction between the two. It's like if I feel like I'm already putting so much of my own life on the screen, you're like, well, we can pull a little bit of busies, and you forget that though you're making that decision to pull from your own life.
At least it was fun drunk on Cougar Town.
Oh, fun drunk on Cougs, yeah, for
which
sure.
I feel like it introduced me to knowing that adulthood would be just me drinking bottles of wine
with
at
your
home
friends
all the time. Yes.
at home.
And scamming your children into college. Don't you wish that had been a Cougar Town plot line?
Was it though? It might have been.
It might have been, yeah.
I don't remember.
Courtney on that show would have done that.
She would have for sure. She would have used her cleavage to like get her son into college. I'm so fascinated by all of it, by the scamming.
No, I love it.
I can't stop talking. I've talked about it on my show every night this week. I'm fascinated.
It's like a gift. I said when we were recording this before, I felt like I was on like serious club drugs, like enjoying it way too much.
Way too much.
Yeah.
I'm imagining what other celebrities were involved. I'm imagining Lori just like pacing in her home.
The turtleneck's getting sharper as the day goes on.
Being like, listen, I can give you this person, okay?
I mean, you
Melinda
already
Clark,
know,
she did it.
You already know we are, like, I feel like now something big happens, and truly 16 months later, there's an HBO miniseries. So by next Christmas, there's gonna be a fictionalized something of this. Would you audition for that project?
For which one?
For like if they do a drama of the
I'm
the
offer
cheating scandal.
only first.
Okay, of course.
Like, let's not get that fucking twisted. Who am I? Felicity Huffman in
Lori.
this?
No,
I'm
you're Lori. You're Lori.
Genius. Could really sink my teeth into it. First of all, I'm too young, but also, no, I'm kidding. Well, I am, but I don't know. I mean, I wonder who will do it or how it will be done. It also just seems like, is it that interesting? It's just like rich people. I don't know.
It does seem like it comes down to 2 phone calls.
It seems like it doesn't seem like it's that deep. Like it seems like it was like, here's the thing. Okay, let's do this thing. The thing that's fascinating to me is just the idea that it was somehow important for specifically Lori Loughlin's daughters to go to college.
That's what I've been saying.
And I don't understand that, except.
Are you obsessed with your children going to college?
No.
Oh.
But I also, Ira, can say that from a place of privilege, and I understand that as well. Like, it's not a way out for my kids. Like, and I don't know what their respective journeys will be, but if it's not higher education, like, okay, chill. Like, I don't think it's necessary for them because I know what the world will afford to them anyway because of their place.
Yeah.
So that's like easier for me to say that higher education isn't important just because of who I am and who my husband is and what our kids
But
are
I've
gonna
never
be.
understood that about like those kids did not need college
For
that
sure, they
badly.
shouldn't have gone to college. I mean,
Right.
that one girl was like, had all those brand deals. She's fucking lost them
Right,
all.
right,
Also-
right.
I'm
Also,
like,
part of her
bummed
brand-
about
Now
the brand
she needs.
deals.
Ironically, now she does need to go to college.
Yes. Now
Also,
she needs a backup plan.
Apparently, a major part of her brand was announcing she hated school. I mean, just like it's so crazy.
It's wild to me. But here's what I will say. In my 20 years as an actor, I do find that a lot of times actors, in particular of like a certain echelon, have a deep insecurity about their own lack of education. And so that they put a lot of pressure on their own children to sort of succeed where they maybe did not even try. So I don't know Lori Loughlin. And by the way, she apparently calls it Loughlin. I talked about this on my show last night. She's saying that it's Loughlin.
We've had a 30-year pop culture relationship with Lori Loughlin. It will remain Lori Loughlin
It's
to me.
Loughlin. But she, you know, I don't know her educational background. So I don't know if that's where she's coming from, like that, where it's like so super important for her daughters to go to college and graduate from school because maybe she didn't. I don't know. And you just like, I feel like Meryl Streep would be the kind of actor who'd be like, I don't know, go to college. Don't go to college. You'll be fine. You know, I feel like she wouldn't care because she has like the Yale Drama School
Right.
and the Oscars.
And we
the
look at her-
respect and the
yeah.
prestige.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm Aunt Becky. You're going to fucking college.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
You're saying it's almost like it's comparable to when like a known comic actor is sort of obsessed with doing drama because
Yes.
there's a
Yeah.
self-consciousness about being
Yes.
taken seriously.
I
Yeah.
have found, just truly anecdotally speaking, that and honestly, I suffered from it a little bit as well until I had a perspective shift, which is just like every kid has their own journey, and like education might not be my kid's journey, or you know, being like an academic, not education, but like being an academic might not be my kid's journey, and that's okay. Like there's nothing wrong with that. I turned out fine with my
That's
1.5 years of Loyola Marymount University.
Oh,
you
I didn't know that.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right down the street.
Right
Right
up-
by
right
La
up the
Tijera.
Right up
Yes.
the
Yeah.
on top of the.
So anyway, oh yeah, just anecdotally speaking, I have found that like a lot of specifically television actors get very insecure about their lack of education, and they're always like, you know, carrying around books and like talking about things they've read, and it's like everyone can calm
Relax.
the fuck down.
Right.
Like we think you're smart, it's okay.
I'm having flashbacks to Winona Ryder used to always carry Catcher in the Rye with her. And
For
I was like,
that's it.
When I was 16, I was like, that's really cool. At 32, I'm like, come on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
It's like,
Well,
aren't
was
you
it-
done with that book?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
It's
say.
small.
Like, how many
Just
times
put
are
it
you reading
down.
that?
Or like Dante's Inferno. Like
Yeah.
someone was just carrying a copy of Dante's Inferno in peoplemag.com, and I was like,
Oh
get
God.
over it.
Your Cougar Town co-star Courtney Cox in her short-lived show
Dirt?
Dirt, which I loved.
Dirt.
There's a scene where she walks out of a club and there's a guy leaning against a pole reading Gravity's Rainbow.
There you go.
Right.
Is he an actor? Is he like the,
Yeah,
the
he's an
actor from the
actor.
show? Yeah.
Busy. The more you get like explosively famous just for being yourself, how necessary or fun is acting to you? Is it more fun?
I don't know. I haven't done it in a while. I loved doing the episode of Camping that I did last year. That was very fun. And
Kimmy Schmidt.
Kimmy Schmidt.
did that
Kimmy
too.
Schmidt was incredible a year ago. Yeah, I shot that a year ago. It just came out. So that's, I forget because it like sort of just was released. But that was a dream because working with Carol was like, you know, she's an icon and it was pretty incredible.
You seen Adam's Family Values recently? Holds up. Yeah.
Does it really?
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
I bet it does.
Joan Cusack, Ange Houston, all my faves.
I wonder if Birdie would be into that. Maybe I'll share with Adam.
It's a perfect film.
Yeah, maybe I
Yes.
will. And obviously, I Feel Pretty was its own thing because my husband co-wrote and co-directed it with his directing partner Abby. So that was fun. I don't know. We'll see. It depends what it is.
I'm actually surprised you're that on the fence about it because you're such a casually. I mean, like I think of my own life watching Busy Phillips on TV. Like
Yeah.
Kim Kelly is my friend. Literally, I could just call my best girlfriend at home, and be like, "Let's talk about Kim Kelly as my friend
Yeah.
for like 3 hours, and then we
Aw,
will."
That's really nice.
Yeah, that's an episode of Freaks and Geeks. by the way.
I love it. I love it, and I like acting is the thing that I that truly makes me feel the best in my life. I mean, I have children, and that's no. I mean, kidding. No, but it really is like the most fulfilling thing for me. But this industry and getting jobs and keeping jobs and getting things on the air, and it ceases to be a thing that is fun for me. And additionally, because I have these kids that I keep mentioning who are 10 and 5, for me personally, the decision a few years ago became that I'm unwilling to travel while they're in school, just because they're only little for such a short period of time, and like it was my fucking decision to have them. You know what I mean? Like I should be there. You know, like, so which takes me out of like I've been offered many things in the last 5 years that are like shoots in Vancouver, shoots in Toronto, shoots in Atlanta, lots of shoots in Atlanta, and it's just not feasible for me.
Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Real
That
Housewives.
they want you to replace Kim.
That would be. You would
Talk about white chicks.
You're maybe the only white woman I would accept back on. Like if they had to add, because they had Kim with the first. Like once Kim left, you were like, oh yeah, she probably never should have been there in the first place. But like I could see you. You could hold your own. Do you think you could stand up to Nene?
There's no world in which I could do that shit. I was like, no.
You could stand up to like Cynthia.
No, no. I have like horrible crippling anxiety. Like this is all a front for. I could not do that.
They're acting though.
Are they? I don't know.
What kind of roles do you feel like you weren't getting that you really sort of would love to do? Something that
back in the day. I mean, like I'm old now, Ira. Like I'm turning 40 this year. It's like it's done for me as an actor.
Oh my God.
No, but I mean, I think that I missed, or I think that they missed. I think that I was just not the right era and time, like when the romantic comedy, like when I should have done like a quirky romantic comedy vibe. Yeah. They weren't doing that then with girls like me. I was always too much. Like I was too loud or too weird or too something, but then, you know, also kind of too pretty to be the other thing, you know? Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yes. No, I was going to say also, speaking of acting, though, when I watch your talk show, among all the talk show hosts, I feel like you are specifically the actor whisperer. Like, people trust you.
Yeah.
And, like, there's obviously, like, some commiseration going on there. As much as you are, you know, not primarily an actor anymore, do you take a lot of pride in, like, gaining some vulnerability out of people in that profession?
It's been a really interesting several months of doing this show. And one of the things that we do, you both have been there. I'm sorry you haven't been there yet.
It's okay. Jenny tells me about it.
Yeah, Jenny comes all the time. It's so cute. Jenny Connor, guys. Jenny Connor. One of the things that we do is that I'll share a lot of stuff with the person. It all gets cut out because it's a 22-minute show, and we edit it. A lot of people don't know that, or maybe they do. I don't know. But I will, like, if they say something about a project, I'll be like, oh my God, yes, that exact same thing happened to me when I was on this thing, and this is the story. And then full well, I'm aware always as I'm talking to the person that my part will be cut out. But I think just my willingness to share those things in front of the audience and to the other person makes them want to share back, I guess. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, Julia Roberts is great on the show.
My sweet queen.
Do you know what it reminds me of is the heyday of Rosie O'Donnell, who was like the last talk show host to be like, I know exactly what you're talking about. I can like make fun of myself and throw it back at you, and you want to make fun of yourself.
You know that my showrunner, Casey St. Ange, worked on the Rosie O'Donnell show.
I love her.
For the whole time, I think.
Busy's showrunner is the world's #1 Prince fan.
Yeah.
I'm like a serious Prince devotee, and when I hear her talk about it, I'm like, never mind, you win.
I know, it's really intense.
Yeah.
I slept in Paisley Park once.
You did?
I bet you didn't.
Yeah, they did a seance.
In
recently?
Chanhassen, Minnesota?
I had to talk to Prince. No, I don't care about Prince that much.
When it starts to when he dips into supernatural,
You know,
Because
Oh,
like
right.
he'll
You know
do
it's
these
not real.
runs and then he says something that's like not, and you're like, oh, there we are. We know what's happening.
It's just a bit.
Yeah, it is. Sure is. Sure is.
I was really interested in your Vanity Fair piece, where you were just talking about the struggles of being like a woman in late night, and I mean, how has that been? I mean, we've seen now Lily Singh is going to have her
I know.
own show.
Oh my God! By the way, can I just say this? I'll say this on your podcast. So I knew that because we're NBC Universal family. So I knew this like weeks ago that Lily was getting the show, and I was super excited. And I like didn't. I don't know, guys. I don't pay attention, I guess, when people are talking to me. I didn't realize it was a fucking secret. So I've been like, I have literally been talking about it on my fucking South by Southwest panel. Ray, do you remember? My assistant's here. I said it on my South by Southwest panel. No one picked it up. I was like, no, it's so great. And I really feel like it's so important to have more representation and more diverse voices and late night. I mean, I'm so excited that who's taking over the Carson Daly thing, and like, my friends were in the front, my producers were in the front row, and they're like, Lily. I was like, oh yeah, Lily Singh is taking over the Carson Daly. That was at South by Southwest last week. I'm so glad that didn't fucking get picked up anywhere. I would have like ruined their big fucking moment, and it would have seemed like maybe on purpose or something.
Right.
It really wasn't. I genuinely thought it was like
Reignite
unknown.
the late night wars.
Well, maybe I just did right now, but like I genuinely thought it was a thing that was known, because if it had gotten to me, I like obviously thought that it was not a secret. But
You could still head to the Slammer, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, just FYI.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is it even like? Like you're hosting a show, and you're more visible and you're out there. What's it like straddling that line, between like talking about celebrities on your show and then being one yourself, and then knowing that you might run into you might run into Lori at a party.
Well,
I don't think she's invited anymore.
No. That I mean, to me, that story in particular is so. How do you not talk about it? Everyone's talking about it. You have to talk about it, and I don't actually feel bad because it's so egregious and insane to me that it's like I don't fucking care. I do. We go through the topics in the morning, and I stay away from stuff that makes me feel gross. And you know what I mean? Like, that's my barometer.
Yeah.
Is like, do I want to talk about this person's divorce? No, not really. That's not very interesting to me. I mean, I talked about the Ariana and Pete breakup, like when it happened, because that had to be discussed, I felt like.
We know the feeling, yes.
You know that I had the moment, like, when was it? It was right before Kate Beckinsale, maybe, where I was like watching SNL and I finally got it, like Pete. I finally like got it.
Oh, I see.
It wasn't like it never had registered for me. I was always like, I don't get this. This is not a thing for me. And then I don't remember what it was on SNL, and I was like, oh, I get it. Yeah, no, you could fuck him. Yeah, he would be.
Someone could.
Someone could fuck him.
Someone.
But like,
I'd do it.
you would?
Yeah. Why not?
Well, yeah, we know.
Yeah.
I think
I'd Pete that Davidson.
I think you're a little different because you were an actor and like a famous actor. But I think a lot about Chrissy Teigen, who in the beginning, when she was just like John Legend's beautiful girlfriend and was so funny on Twitter because she had all this access in the way that like normal people didn't.
Right.
And so she would tweet about things the way that you would, like, oh my God, it's the back of J-Lo's head. And then now that she's become famous, and I think part of it too is like that you have podcasts and talk shows and all these other arenas for celebrities in a way, things they wouldn't have been doing before.
Right.
And she's been someone who's really interesting to me because I'm like, oh, you're like a legit celebrity now, as opposed to before when it was like, oh, she's like us. She's
but
just
she
like
still is like us. And I think people still think of that. And that's the same thing that I have too, is that people always felt like, the infamous Oscars moment. It's like, I wasn't nominated for an Oscar. I was there with my best friend. And it was sort of like, what if you got to go to the Oscars with your best friend and sit front row for that thing? And I think that people see themselves in me, or they're sort of like an aspirational. Like, what's interesting to me on my Instagram sometimes, like, I'm not like... clearly not a fashion blogger, guys, but I will post like a cute outfit or whatever. And sometimes people get genuinely pissed if I'm wearing something expensive. Like, oh, nice fucking $4,000 earrings or whatever. I'm making that up, but like, you know, I can't afford that. And it's like, well, yeah, no, you don't live my life. Like, I know.
I'm not you.
No, I know that you think that I'm like the mom down the street, and that's chill. But I also have like worked my fucking ass off in Hollywood for 20 years, and I got some nice shit. Like, you know, so it is really funny to me because people think of me as this like super relatable, super this, super that, but then at the same time, then they get like offended when I
Well, you're like, I'm not an Instagram influencer in my Fashion Nova. You're like, which maybe you do sometimes, but like, I feel like the influencer thing, it's, you know, where they, like everything's like tagged.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's like, so that you can absolutely achieve this. And it's like, that's not what others are doing.
Right.
I always
like it to know it to like. What is it? Like it to know it.
Yeah, there's.
It's like when people would
and then you get a percentage of the money if the person buys the thing.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, that's what that whole scam is.
They have those shop now tags on them too. Where
I
people
know.
can go. I mean, it was like when people would attack. Like Michelle Obama or something.
She's
Like,
rich. I was like, what are you talking
once
about?
she's rich, and also it's people forget the fact that you're a celebrity. So if you're half the time, if you're wearing like a dress that's like $20,000, they probably gave it to you to wear because they want you to be seen in it.
Yes.
The Michelle Obama stuff used to drive me crazy. I'm like,
too.
she is one of the most visible human beings living on the planet. That bitch is going to be in a $2,000 dress. Like, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. And you're not her.
Right.
More to the point, it's like, you are not her, she is not you. And you should be very clear about that every step of the way.
Agree.
I am always a little bit afraid on behalf of celebrities who are deemed approachable. I'm like not just you, but like I think of people like Tina Fey or like Kelly Clarkson or whatever, where I think it feels like you're friends with them, and then when you're not exactly what you thought they were or whatever, then they're hostile at you or something.
I always feel like a huge disappointment to people. I do think a lot of times, sometimes when fans or people approach me, I do think that they're looking for the best friend that they know and love from Instagram or whatever, and then depending on where I am, like I'm like with my kid in a grocery store or whatever, people have really interesting timing, and they don't know how to read a room or how to gauge a situation. And there are times when it's like so chill and I'm happy. Like South by Southwest, like I put myself in that fucking place. You know what I mean? Like, come say hi. Like I'll take a selfie with you on the street. Like I'm there for that purpose. But you know, at Gelson's, like with my 5-year-old trying to like get her a snack and get dinner, maybe that's like not the move.
Guys, I saw Kelly Clarkson once at Zara, and it was unbelievable, and I didn't say anything, but I was just like, I love her so much.
That's very relatable.
I also love Zara. We are both here.
This triangle is complete.
I was like, I can't say anything because it will ruin this perfect
Yeah.
moment, and it is now pristine because I said nothing.
And you get to hold that.
I hold that forever.
You get to hold that forever, that moment.
There's also something particularly strange
A
about
moment
people
like
in
this.
about people in LA approaching celebrities. It's like, aren't you over it yet? Like when they post like pictures of like celebs and themselves, it's like, nobody here is like wowed by the fact that you ran into, I don't know, whomever, Andrew Rannells, that's who's coming to mind, at like whatever, CrossFit or something.
Yeah.
Love him though.
His book just came out this week. I just got it.
Yeah, no, he's like my crush. Anyway, this is all a way of saying I need to meet him.
Okay.
I have told you before, I like when Casey Wilson was here, we are keeping Andrew Rannells away from you.
Oh, that's sorry, I didn't keep track of your notes.
Is that who we should replace Rami with?
Oh, that'd be cute. Yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to replace Rami Malek on our board.
Do you have any suggestions?
I mean, busy, you could also be
Other
on
than
there.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird that I'm not up there.
We can replace the Tamagotchi with you.
Yeah.
For sure.
That track.
At a minimum.
Yeah, let me think about it. Rami's done. You're done with him?
For now, yeah.
For now.
Yeah.
He and I are taking a break.
Yeah. I feel that.
Emotionally, he's put me through a lot. Yeah.
That video of all the things he's a fan of.
Oh, that was so...
Log walks, touching hands,
So
ice
disingenuous.
cream,
He's so daring.
I'm
water.
a fan of. It was like so overacted. It was so weird.
The champagne moment when he shook up the champagne and sprayed like the photographers and the people who were just engraving.
Weird.
I was like, they don't want this.
No.
They're engravers.
That is a person who's like not in touch with
And,
the
like,
world around them.
Probably rented those tuxedos, and now you got damn champagne all in their rented tuxes.
Bless his little heart. Bless his tiny little heart. part.
It is minuscule. This is a question that I feel like you must be asked all the time, but I am curious.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Michelle role, performance?
Oh shit. That's a hard question. I mean, I love the movie Brokeback Mountain for so many reasons, and that was like the first time that I feel like she was really allowed to like shine and show the depth that she was capable of. I mean, she's kind of done it in some indie movies that no one had seen, I guess, or some people had seen. But I think that performance, Venom, that's your favorite
Indie movie of hers.
Oh yeah, that's your favorite indie movie. But I think that was sort of like the turn. I think it's such an important role for her, and it was like such a turning point in her career. So it's probably one of my favorites. And then beyond that, like, I like loved her in Cabaret on Broadway.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sorry I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I heard she was amazing.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see.
It was polarizing. Like people either like fucking got what she was doing and were like, "Oh shit, this is genius," or they were like, "That's not Liza Minnelli."
Yeah,
like,
right.
like I don't like that. That's not exactly what I know from the movie.
I use that critique for just anybody, by the way.
Kind of, yeah, it works.
Ira, that's not
Yeah.
Liza Minnelli. Yeah.
But so that, like, I saw her in Cabaret, like, I think 4 times. Because I went to, like, some early dress and, but she was a fucking powerhouse in that play. And then I'm so excited about this show, about Fosse Verdon.
Have you seen it?
So
I
psyched.
haven't seen it.
Can't wait.
I'm
The
excited
stills
to see
were
it.
unreal.
Yeah, the stills are unreal. I've seen, like, little bits and pieces, but I have not seen.
Finally, when are we gonna get like a Thelma and Louise or like some buddy comedy with you two? Just taking on the world.
I know, we really should. We've had some ideas in the past for things. I don't know. Like I think it would be really interesting to do something together like that. I would do it. I don't know.
Would you rather a comedy or a drama together?
I would go like, I think a comedy.
Yeah.
I think she's so funny and she never gets to showcase that, and because she's so good at the other stuff. And
I'm gonna say
accessing the other
devastation
stuff.
reads so well in her face. It's like hard not to give her a
wild.
drama. Yeah.
Jack
Well, I guess
Nasty.
Manchester.
Ugh.
Maybe Manchester is my
Yeah,
favorite
she's so
performance.
good in
that
that.
like scene. That scene.
Yeah.
That scene.
No, she just
Did
is
you guys watch the show? Oh my God, what was it called? With when Faye Dunaway was
Starlet.
Starlet. Did you
Yes.
watch Starlet?
I am. Faye Dunaway is one of my favorite celebrities ever, and I am afraid of her because
Yeah,
of that. I've only seen an episode of it, though. Somebody else was just telling me about how obsessed they were with it.
I was obsessed with Starlet and watched every episode. And there's a thing that my friend Abdi and I quote to this day sometimes when we see like a great performance. But they were doing this challenge where they had to do a commercial. And the line was, "You hear that? That's the ocean calling." And I'm doing it like that because that's the girl, like it's stuck in my head, the girl that was one of the starlets in the running. That's how she said it. "You hear that? That's the ocean calling." And Vivica A. Fox said,
She was one of the judges.
Vivica A. Fox said, "Do you hear that? That's the gym calling." And, that was like one quote because they were like in a bikini, like for this commercial or whatever challenge. That was the one quote. And then I can't remember if it's this. I can't remember. Someone needs to find it. If it's Faye Dunaway that said it or if it's Vivica A. Fox that said it during one of the scene challenges in the critiques afterwards. She said, "Listen to me." I think it's Faye. She said, "Listen to me. A scene must have bones." And she was like snapping her fingers. And I think about a scene must have bones all the time.
Also, that is just hair raising. Thank you
It's
for that
hair
advice.
raising. A scene must have bones. I
With
wonder
her, probably literal bones.
Yes, right.
The,
Find them.
the prize for the Starlet was, I believe, a walk-on role on One Tree Hill. I believe you got like
That was
2
like the main
lines.
prize?
I think the main prize was like you got like $15,000, new headshots, and a walk-on role on CW's One Tree Hill. And I think the person got like, I think the girl got like a scene or something on One Tree Hill. I wonder who won the Starlet.
Yeah,
I wonder
no.
where she is.
I'm gonna say who is. It
mean-
was Jennifer Lawrence.
Right.
Yes, right. Yeah.
Vivica Fox.
Mabes?
Vivica Fox and Faye Dunaway, like you already have me.
I
Right.
don't
Yeah.
understand.
Like you,
Can we find that show anywhere?
I'm going to hunt it down, and
Yeah.
it will become my favorite
we'll
show.
start recapping it. Should we
Yes.
start recapping it every
Recapping
week on
Starlet.
Keep It?
You guys have me back, please, when you get to the scene must have bows.
Oh, that's so good.
Fascinating.
Before you go,
Yes.
we were talking about Once Your Hill Walk On, CW, obviously. WB, did you ever shoot? I can't remember. Did you ever shoot one of those big?
People piles?
Yes, the ones where they had the cast of every show, and you're all just dancing around like, oh, what a night with Michigan J. Frog.
Always, oh, what a night. I shot one of the promos for the WB, but this is like actually like weirdly a sad story, Ira.
Oh,
I know, it's weird. The promo shoot, I did one of those promo shoots, and they just kind of like they shoot everyone kind of separately, and then they just jammed you all together.
Oh, that's disappointing.
It was
I
disappointing.
thought everyone was having a party.
No, but I remember back in the day. I mean,
It's like,
the
look at
parties-
James Vanderbeek and Sarah Michelle Gellar laughing.
Yeah, I mean, I was sort of like I was on the tail end of the journey for both the WB and Dawson's Creek. I'm not saying I brought it all down, but but I remember like the big summer soiree party, the WB party. It was when that show, The Surreal Life, was on
yes.
WB.
Oh, yes.
And MC Hammer and Emmanuel Lewis was on that show. And I remember being like really excited that I was at a party with MC Hammer. Like that was a very exciting moment for me.
Mm-hmm. Pumps and a bump, yes.
But other than that, though, too, I was like, I didn't watch the WB show. You're younger than me. I was like already working and in college and like, and then was on Freaks and Geeks. And like, I kind of missed it. I wasn't a Dawson's Creek fan. People hate this when I say this, but like, I had never seen an episode of Dawson's Creek when I got cast on it.
No, I remember Rose McGowan saying at one. She was like, "I don't watch Charmed." And
Yeah,
I was
I
like,
didn't
"That
watch
makes me
Charmed.
love you." Good. Yeah.
I didn't watch Charmed. I didn't watch any of those teen shows. Like, I didn't watch, what were the other ones? Oh, I did like Felicity.
Mm-hmm.
And Speedman is one of my good friends now, and that's always fun for me. I'll make him do a photo shoot occasionally with my phone. Did you watch Felicity?
I loved Felicity.
Yeah.
I was so excited to meet him that one time with you.
Yes.
At your book party.
Yes.
And I was
He's
like,
the
Scott
best.
Speedman. Still
He is-
Scott Speedman.
Truly, he is the greatest.
Scott Ben Speedman. Anyway, thank you for being here, Busy.
Thanks for having me.
We love you.
I love you.
You were so killer. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, guys.
You are our Tamagotchi.
You know what? I love it. Don't kill me. Remember to feed me. Remember to give me a nap.
I will not let my teacher put you in his desk because I should
the
not have you
worst.
out.